The big, beautiful bill is back on tap is something we need to be paying attention to as changes continue to be presented as the bill works its way through the Senate. Joining me to discuss is Ways and Means Committee member, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, welcome back.
Great to be on. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. So give us the updates. We're dying to know what's the latest.
Well, I'm trying to follow the Senate, what's going on in the Senate right now. So there's been a few changes here and there, but I'm not sure what the ultimate votorama is going to end up doing. So what happened is the Senate is now voting and they're going through and debating amendments. And there's also looking like there could be a one big wraparound amendment to kind of put a lot of things together to get it. So they vote for something in the Senate that we can get the Freedom Caucus in the House and some of the moderates to vote for. So there's a lot of horse trading happening, so there's no final conclusion. But all I can tell you is, I know we need to get this done. We need to make these tax cuts permanent. We need to unleash American energy. We need to get funding to our military, and we need to get funding for the border. And those are the main things that are in this bill that are done, obviously, through the reconciliation process, but also to represent President Trump's agenda and also to get immediate relief to the American people. And as I can't emphasize enough, the bill is far from perfect. I'm still trying to negotiate and get some of the things I want in. I'm not going to get everything I want. No one is going to get everything they want. It's not going to be perfect, but we do have another chance at reconciliation. And we also have appropriations coming up. That's the next big round. And we also are going to be looking at standalone bills for some of the things we didn't get in this bill, because I think it's really important for everyone to know, Stacy, that a lot of the provisions in the Ways and Means side of this is a tax bill, remember. It's in reconciliation. It's supposed to be about, actual revenue versus, cost. And that's how it's evaluated by the parliamentarian and by the rules of reconciliation to get around that 60 vote margin in the Senate. But a lot of the provisions coming out of Ways and Means are bipartisan. But unfortunately, the Democrats will not vote for any of these things, even if they're initiatives that are theirs in this bill. So we have to get it done on a party line vote. And I think after, maybe we can get some of the Democrats to join us on something that's less, signature to President Trump. Because of their base. So I'm hoping that we get something done later to improve this. And obviously, we have a record amount of 1.6 trillion, almost 1.7 trillion in mandatory spending cuts, which has never happened in the history of this country. So we are doing groundbreaking things here. We can't cut everything in one year. You don't want to have a recession. You want to make sure the decades that it took to create this debt and deficit are not going to be a shocker to the American people or our economy. So we've gradually built these in over 10 years, and we can do even more as each year goes on.
So I really appreciate that detail, Congresswoman, because one of the big deals is that there's a lot of conversation, especially over on Citizen Free Press, which is the new drudge. We're talking about 400 million visits, right? I think a day or something like that. It's crazy. So he's over there saying he supports the bill, but he wants to see more cuts. The detail that you just added there is that we don't want to kill the patient while we're making the cuts. So we make as many cuts as we can this go round, understanding we'll have another bite at the apple later. Talk to me a little bit about, because you mentioned a couple of the superlatives here, making the TCJA permanent, those tax cuts, saving Americans a 68% tax hike this year that would happen without this legislation. Anything else that people need to know that's a specific thing that's of good report here in this piece of legislation?
Yeah, well, first of all, of course, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act has to be renewed, or you're going to see the largest tax increase in American history. And the Democrats are going, "Oh, it's a tax cut for the wealthy." That's just a lazy, inappropriate thing to say. These tax cuts target middle and lower income taxpayers and small businesses who drive our economy. In my community, 90 plus percent, almost 95% of the jobs are created by small businesses, not big companies, people with pass throughs. So it's critically important that we get these small business provisions done. It's going to grow the economy. Nothing has grown the economy like these tax cuts have, and that's why they need to be renewed.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.